Hi guys, so today I'm doing a fall look. Obviously, this is very fall, this is very your typical fall look. I'm not a big rule follower, so I love like orange and red and warm tones all year round. I guess I do wear less like darker lipsticks, like maybe red. I don't really wear red a lot unless it's around fall or Christmas time. So this isn't a very like different look for me or out of my comfort zone. I love doing these looks, so I was very familiar with what I like to use, and this is one of my favorite looks to do. So I was really excited to film this. So if you guys like this look and you want to see how I got it, just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Morphe 350 palette and use these two shades on a Morphe E22 blending brush. I just sweep it in a little bit above my crease and in my crease. I'm not too precise. And then after that, I grab this Burgundy shade. I go in with this because it has more of a red undertone than brown, and I want it to be pretty vibrant. I don't want it to mesh and all look really like dark and brown. So I go in with this in the outer corner and then build it up to my liking, and then I start kind of connecting it in the center of my crease and sweeping it to the inner corner and then building it up in the inner corner as well. And as I go back and forth from the inner corner to the outer corner and through the crease, I just try to avoid the center of my eyelid since I am going to put a little bit of a shimmer right there. So if you do get some shadow there, it's fine. I just didn't want it to be too dark, so that's why I avoided it. And then I'm going to go back in with the E22 just on the outer edges of all of that, just to kind of make sure that there's no harsh lines. So now I'm going to go in with this burgundy shade that has more of a brown undertone in it, and just focusing it really closely in that outer V area just to kind of smoke it out a little bit. So now I'm going to go in with this burgundy reddish shimmery shade on the center of my lid. Always be careful with shimmery shades because they can and will get all over the lid and not just stay where you place it. So just use a very small amount. And lastly, I'm going to go back with the E22 and get this really light orangey shade and just place it right at the outer part of all of that eyeshadow just to give it a nice little gradient effect. And now I'm using the Marc Jacobs Coconut Face Primer. I'm using it kind of more of a moisturizer. I have really dry skin, so I really like to use a moisturizing primer as well as a pore filling one. This is the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. And then I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever foundation stick all over, just all over my face, just like that. Now I'm using a I'm using a Morphe E6 to buff this all out. I like it better than using a beauty blender because I kind of just push and like slide at the same time. I don't know how else to explain it. I just like push and kind of drag at the same time, so it works really well for this foundation. And of course I have to go in with the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector with an E22. I usually use my finger, but I have these claws now, so I have to use a brush. And then I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Lock It Concealer in L5 Neutral. It's not my favorite. It's not, you have to use a really, like, you have to make sure it's all blended out and use a really thin amount, because if you bake with this, it will like cake up really bad. So just be very careful and blend it out really, really well. And for blending, I'm going to use the Morphe G8. This is my favorite brush to use to blend out concealer. It picks up all the excess. It's awesome. Now I'm using a NYX Wonder Stick. It's a highlight and contour stick. I use the shade Deep for my face, and then I use the shade Medium Tan for my nose. I'm using the Kat Von D Lock It Translucent Powder to bake my under eyes and my chin area, pretty much anywhere I put the concealer. And then I'm going to take this little blending brush. It has no number on it, but it's also by Morphe, and just blend that out, and then get my foundation brush and kind of go down the center. Now I'm sweeping off the translucent powder with a Morphe E3 brush, and then I'm going to go in with MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium to hit all of the parts of my face that I didn't put the translucent powder. Now I'm using a Sigma pencil brush to just kind of mimic what I did on my eyes, on the top of my eyes, on my eyelids and my crease, kind of going with the same shades. And I like to keep it really smoky on the outer edges and then just hardly drag it towards the center. And then I'm going to use the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara and then curl my lashes with my falsies. And now I'm using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I like to use the two lighter shades to kind of buff it in really well, and then I like flip over the brush, so I add the color with one side of the brush and then I flip the brush over, blend it out, and then I get the darkest shade and just apply it to the very like back part towards my hairline to give it a little bit, see, like that, and then I just like blend it all out with the other side. And if it gets kind of all over the place, I just grab my foundation brush and I kind of just you know, clean it up. Now I'm using the lightest shade in the Shade and Light palette just to kind of set my little contour on my nose. And now I'm using a NYX blush in the shade Nutmeg and a little angled brush by Morphe. I'll have everything that I don't mention and everything that I did mention listed below. Now I'm going in with a MAC lip liner in Strip Down, and I am using a matte lipstick by MAC in Whirl. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, and get ready for those Halloween tutorials because they are coming.